Thurston, and finally it is a Thursday morning here on Pulse 94.1. We are making our way through our November Radiothon. It's Graham here, joined in the studio by Andrew Fishtail Fisher from the Jesus Racing V8U team. Thank you once again for coming in, Andrew.
It's great to be here. There we go, the phones are ringing, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, we've got to try and get up to, as we mentioned a bit earlier, Andrew, our overall goal this November Radiothon of $37,500, and with the funds that we do raise in this Radiothon, it's going towards some essential studio upgrades and bringing our studio, you could say, to the 21st century.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, it's so important to have the technology to be able to continue to provide the services, out to the public.
And also as well, it will go towards making our website more user-friendly for our listeners. But I wanted to ask you, you've just come back from a weekend down in Winton, Victoria for the Jesus Racing V8. You finished 7th overall, and there was a few issues with a thing called parity between you guys, because you race a Ford.
I do, yeah.
And obviously the Holden utes. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I came second in the Ford competition on the weekend. So look, it's always the most difficult thing, I think, probably in any championship, is to get the parity right between the different makes. And we came in with a new car at the beginning of the year, the FG Falcon, with all honesty, we probably had a little bit of an advantage at the beginning of the year with car speed. The idiosyncrasies of the car are just different. It's technical, so I won't bore everybody with it too much. But basically, to get a car to go through a corner quickly, you need to actually rotate the car, which means you've got to get the weight from the front to the rear. As you enter the corner, you want the weight in the front. As you exit the corner, you want the weight on the rear. And we as racing car drivers, we have techniques to be able to do that. The new race car was easier to do that than the old race car, which meant that the Holdens, because the parity was set against the old race cars, the Holdens were struggling a little bit against us. Basically, they've been working at that over the last sort of 3 or 4 rounds. Unfortunately, on the weekend, they just got it wrong. They had a new system they put in place, and the Holdens were pretty much 3 to 4 tenths of a second quicker than the Fords. It was a pretty tough weekend, to be quite honest. I came 7th, I was the second Ford. There was only, I think, 3 Fords in the top 12. It was pretty hard for the Ford drivers. But as I've said to the other guys, look, we've probably given a weekend back. It hasn't killed us in the championship. We're still in 4th in the championship. We're still able to get on the podium, for the championship, which we sort of finish off next weekend. So disappointing, but still not the worst thing that can happen in motor racing.
Now you mentioned Sydney, that's coming up next weekend, start of December, and you're less than 100 points off the championship lead, so as you said, there's still a chance in the final round to hopefully maybe take out the championship, which would be great. Yeah,
look, it would. It'd probably be unfair for me to hope for that, because a couple of guys would have to have a pretty disastrous weekend. We'd be going down to turn 1, and the 3 cars in front of me would probably all have to come together. But it's great to be in a position where you're going to the last round and you're still in contention for the championship. That's what every driver wants. We've worked really hard this year. The team has performed exceptionally well. It's a team sport. It's not just about me. I mean, I get the glory in terms of being the driver and that sort of stuff. But it's a whole team effort out there. Like we've got Mark Waddell, who's our main mechanic. He flies in from Perth every single round. 8 rounds a year he flies in. It's a huge commitment for him out of his business, because he volunteers his time. He comes and works on my car. You've got Mark Donnelly from A1 Smash Repairs up in Sydney, who once again, just every weekend that we go racing, gives up his time to come and work on the cars. A panel beater in the Ute Championship is pretty important. We didn't give him too much work on the weekend, but he's a fantastic guy. And so look, the commitment's just so huge. Steve Peach obviously travels with me each weekend as well, which is he's our community engagement guy. So it's a big, it's a big commitment from a lot of people. But when you're racing in front of 1.2 million spectators around Australia, and you've got a TV audience of over 30 million worldwide that watch the Ute racing each year, it's important to put the effort in.
Are there plans? Obviously, the V8 Utes, the V8 Supercar series, that's obviously expanding overseas with different races. Is there thoughts of taking the V8 Utes over to sort of places like the Middle East and the US? like the supercars are as well?
Yeah, look, there is. I mean, there's a lot of interest in the Utes. So Texas is next year, and there's been some real interest in taking the Utes across to Texas. They think the Americans would love the Ute racing, and having seen the track on the weekend, you know, on the Formula One race there for the first time on the weekend, and having seen the track, it'd be pretty crazy to take the Utes there. Yeah, look, it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, it all comes down to money. You know, they're trying to find, you know, a sponsor in order to actually pay for some of the costs to do that. We're always on the card for New Zealand. Like the guys have been there a couple of times. We don't run it as a championship round, so with the Jesus Racing team, it really comes down to budget, and so we haven't been there yet. But we've got a lot of people sort of, I guess, starting to talk to us about how they could get us across to New Zealand, you know, if we go across there this year. So yeah, look, it'd be fun to go across there, and I mean, I'd really like to take it to Baran or somewhere like that, and I reckon having the Jesus Utes sitting on the grid, they get upset about having you know, the alcohol companies on the cars. I reckon they'd have a capitulation if the Jesus car turned up.
That'd be an interesting situation if it was to happen.
It certainly would. Might need to take some bodyguards.
Andrew Fisher from the Jesus Racing VAU team is our guest this morning here on Pulse 94.1 as we do make our way through our November Radiothon. The goal by hopefully tomorrow afternoon is $37,500. Let's see if we can get there. Overall, Andrew, our tally at the moment stands at $10,685, and hopefully we can encourage our listeners to donate this morning.
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's all important. It's all right to be sitting here and having a chat, but you know, today's about people, you know, showing their support to the radio station and helping you guys to continue to make the difference you do in the community.
Pulse941.com.au, that's the website to go to and make your donation, or you can give us a call. We have some volunteers standing by waiting to take your call on 422 88941. Back to the music for a Thursday. Here's Ben Borey and Love It Up on